Good morning, students. Today we will discuss bounded and continuous linear operators. So first definition is, what is bounded linear operator? So let us take two normed spaces x and y and define an operator t from dt into y. Here this dt that denotes the domain of t, which is a subset of the normed space x. Then we say that this operator t, that is bounded linear operator if there exists a real number c such that the norm of tx, that is less than or equal to c times norm of x for all x belonging to the domain of t. Here the norm on the left hand side that denotes the norm on y, and the norm on the right hand side that denotes the norm of x. For the simplicity, we have denoted both norms by the same symbol. Now, from this formula, we can say that the bounded linear operator t that maps bounded sets in the domain of t onto the bounded sets in y. So let us prove it. So let us take a bounded set in domain of t. That set we have taken as S. S is a subset of domain of t and it is bounded. We will prove that image of S under t, that is a bounded set in y. Now because this is bounded set, so by definition of bounded, there will exist a positive real number, say m, such that the norm of every element of S, that is less than or equal to m. So let us take x norm is less than or equal to m for every x belonging to S. Now because t is bounded linear operator, therefore by definition there will exist a real number c such that the norm of tx is less than or equal to c times the norm of x, and this is true for all x belonging to the domain of t. Now because x norm is less than or equal to m, and therefore using this condition here, this will become t of x norm is less than or equal to c into m. Now because these two both are constants, so we can take c into m as a new constant. We have taken it as c1. So we have proved tx norm is less than or equal to c1 for every x belonging to S. And this proves that t of S is bounded set in y. Thus we have proved that bounded linear operators maps bounded sets in the domain of t onto the bounded sets in y. Now next we show that what is the smallest possible c such that the formula tx norm less than or equal to c times x norm holds for all non-zero elements of domain of t. Now from this formula we have, because x is non-zero here, so norm x will be non-zero, so we can divide throughout by x norm. So this will imply tx norm divided by x norm is less than or equal to c. This is true for every non-zero x belonging to domain of t, and therefore we can define the norm of the linear operator t by the supremum of all these expressions, tx norm divided by x norm, where x is non-zero element of domain of t. This is called norm of the linear operator t. And if the domain of t is 0, in that case we define the norm of t is equal to 0. This formula in particular, by taking c is equal to t norm, the formula becomes tx norm less than or equal to t norm into x norm. So we can use this formula also when T is bounded linear operator. Now next there is a lemma. In this lemma we will show that the norm defined by this expression that actually defines a norm on the domain of T. So the theorem is, let T be a bounded linear operator, then alternative formula for T norm is norm of T is equal to the supremum of Tx norm, where x belongs to domain of T and the norm of x is 1. So we will show that by using this definition we can find alternative formula for norm of T given by this. And in the second part of this lemma we proved that the norm defined by us previously that actually defines a norm. So let us first prove the first part. In the first part we are to show that norm of T is equal to supremum of Tx norm, where x belongs to domain of T and norm of x is 1. So in order to prove this, let us start from the definition of T norm. By definition, T norm is given by the supremum of Tx norm divided by x norm, where x is non-zero element of domain of T. Now let us take x norm is denoted by A. Now because here x is not equal to 0, so norm x will be non-zero, and we know that norm is a non-negative quantity, so this A is positive number here. So we can write 1 upon A as 1 upon A mod, and we can take by absolute homogeneous property of norm, this can be written as Tx upon A whole norm, and we can take x upon A as y. So this will become T norm is equal to supremum of Ty norm. Here y belongs to domain of T. Now let us find y norm. Now y norm means the norm of x upon A. And now this can further be written as norm of x upon mod of A. Now norm of x is A is positive number, mod of A is also A. So the norm of y, that will become 1. So the definition of norm reduces to the form T norm is equal to supremum of the norms of Ty, where y is an element of domain of T with norm 1. We can replace y by x in this definition to get the required result. Now in the second part we will show that the norm defined by us that actually satisfies all the 4 properties of norm. So first property of norm is that should be non-negative. So by definition T norm is supremum of Tx norm divided by x norm, where x is non-zero element of domain of T. Now here, because these two expressions, these are non-negative, Tx norm is non-negative, also x is non-zero, so norm x, that will be positive. So this overall expression, that is non-negative. In the second part, we show that norm of T is 0 if and only if T is 0 operator. So firstly let us take norm of T is 0. So by definition of norm, it means the supremum of Tx norm divided by x norm is 0. Now from here we get Tx norm is equal to 0. Because norm is 0, so this implies that the expression inside the norm, that is also 0. So we get image of x under T is 0 for every x belonging to domain of T, and by definition it means T is 0 operator. Now let us prove the converse part. Conversely, let us take T is 0 operator, and we prove that norm of T is 0. Now by definition, because T is 0 operator, so by definition the image of every element of domain of t, that will be 0 under t. So we get Tx is equal to 0 for every x belonging to domain of t. Now because Tx is 0, so its norm will also be 0. So we get Tx norm is equal to 0 for every x belonging to domain of t. Now substituting this value in the definition of t norm. Here Tx norm is 0, so t norm will become 0. Now we will show the absolute homogeneous property. For this we will have to show that for the scalar alpha, alpha into 2 norm is equal to alpha mod into t norm. So let us start from norm of alpha t. By definition of norm, this will be supremum of norm of alpha tx divided by x norm. Here x is non-zero element of domain of t. Now by using absolute homogeneous property here, this expression in the numerator, that will become alpha mod into norm of tx. In the denominator we have x norm. We can take alpha mod outside of this supremum, so that will become alpha mod into norm of t. Now in the last part we prove the triangle inequality. For this we have to prove that t1 plus t2 norm is less than or equal to t1 norm plus t2 norm. So let us take norm of t1 plus t2. By definition, this will be the supremum of norm of t1 plus t2x. Now t1 plus t2 is a linear operator, so t1 plus t2x, that will become t1x plus t2x. Here we have used the other definition of norm, in which x belongs to domain of t with norm of x is equal to 1. Now this expression is further less than or equal to the supremum of norm of t1x plus supremum of norm of t2x, and by definition this is t1 norm and this expression is t2 norm. So we have proved t1 plus t2 norm is less than or equal to t1 norm plus t2 norm. So we have proved that the norm defined by us that actually defines a norm.